As we all know, the electric vehicles are the future vehicles. This is what is going to be a main target of governments, businesses, and people that have a high sense of moral and duties towards the planet and, of course, the future generation. But what about other companies that are quite big? They're also in the tech industry, and of course, they are trying to build their own projects. Currently, one of these is Apple. Apple is a huge company. I'm an admirer of Apple. They have achieved amazing results, and they have been in competition with Microsoft into the early days. And of course, Steve Jobs is Steve Jobs. He is one of the top CEOs ever lived on this planet. He's not only managed to bring this company out of the dust, he got fired and he came back, and then he showed them again how it's done. I'm thinking about what about their project? Because Apple announced that they are going to be building an electric vehicle. Let's dive in and see what they've managed to do, what they didn't manage to do, and what are the results of their efforts. Of course, what are the results for the rest of the industry? Welcome, my friends. You are watching the Better Future Project, where we are all about sharing positivity, knowledge, and having a good time together. If you have not subscribed, now is the time. Apple currently canceled their project, which was a bit disappointing. But during an interview with the current CEO of Apple, we are looking at a situation where Apple actually had to stop that project. When he was asked about the project, what is going on, how are the things going on, he actually told the interviewer that they are not after building an electric vehicle. They were more likely behind the systems to run autonomous vehicles. So basically, the software. Of course, they will build some car and whatnot, or at least this was their main goal. But to be so much better than anybody else, Apple decided to go after the hardest problem to be solved, which is autonomy. This project took Apple 10 long years, and they didn't have much to show up for. And also, they've burned 1 billion on average per year. So 10 years later and 10 billions later, Apple killed the project. The consequences for the industry and for the Apple, however, are huge. Firstly, it is a clear signal that not every Silicon Valley company, just because they have money and some expertise, are able to compete in this industry. Building an AI that can run autonomous vehicles is not an easy job. It's not an easy task. If it was going to already exist. So there are actually few things that needs to happen. We are having compute power, we are having an AI systems, a large language models, and then obviously visual systems, and then a system that can actually combine all of this. You have to have the enough power in the vehicles, and you have to have a connectivity. What I mean by even simple connectivity, Tesla is one of the few cars that can have update over the air. You guys will be surprised that many vehicle manufacturers are still far away from even having this simple capability of updating their vehicles. And even though some that are currently able to do, like Volkswagen, they'll have one update every couple of months, if you're lucky. So it's not just about getting the technology, because somebody cannot even get you there, but also updating it, which means you need to collect data, you need to actively work on that. This is how far Tesla is actually, this is how far ahead Tesla is actually, because we can see that Tesla not only produces vehicles, not only is focused on the software, not only have the hardware into the vehicles, but they also have the compute power and the technology, the IT department, and AI experts. So we are looking at the implications that Apple has taken. Well, firstly, the industry seems to be very difficult. This is a clear signal that if you are looking into companies that are going to have some major breakthrough into this industry, you need to look into some of the very few that are actually capable. We are talking about currently Tesla. We do know that Waymo and Baidu and Pony and some other companies in America and in China are having significant progress, including in Europe, like Mercedes. Recently, they've updated their autonomy level 3, and we saw a video, and it was a disaster. The driver had to interact and engage with the vehicle constantly, while Tesla did the same route with 0 interactions. What does this mean back to Apple? Well, Apple says we can't actually continue to burn money for this project because it's too difficult, it's very competitive, and we are way behind. I think this was probably the main reason why Tim Cook decided to kill the project. Tesla currently has 6 million plus vehicles on the roads collecting data. And that data is actually very unique because specific things can happen at specific times at specific areas. If you don't have the data, the vehicles will never be able to learn and perform to the best of what is actually possible. So in order to have a superhuman capabilities, you need an AI, you need a software, you need a hardware, and you need a lot of compute power. And the key ingredient, once you've got all these emerging technologies, is data. So Apple said, well, currently we don't have any data. We can eventually do some simulations, but that will never fly. It will be just too difficult project. I'm sure 100% that Apple can follow up with it. I'm sure that Apple can solve the problem. I'm sure that Apple have the capabilities to hire the right people. However, the time, they're so behind. They're behind for years and years and years. Even if they try now to catch up, they will still be very late. Especially when on 8th of August, Elon Musk is going to come out and tell us, hey, the taxi service is going to start on this date. We're going to have these vehicles that Tesla is going to operate. So let's see what happens. In this country, it will be at that date. In this country, it will be in this date. And then we're going to progress across the world. Apple is aware of that. I'm sure that Tim Cook is a very smart person. And he's also thinking, well, if we start now and we need 10, 15 years to actually develop the systems, Tesla will have that system ready within the next year or so. Is Tesla going to be ready with it? We're going to find out. But Apple did the right decision, and it has huge implications. The whole industry that is chasing autonomy now is aware that this is no joke. And even though if you're a big company with massive resources behind you, this is still a problem that is really, really hard to solve. Also, there are other implications for Apple. If a company is investing, if their capex and R&D budget is currently involved into some sort of a big, massive project, and autonomous is probably one of the biggest AI projects in the real life that can be used, that is coming around, and it's going to be in our lifetime. What is happening with Apple? Apple said, well, 10 years later and 10 billion later, we're canceling this because we can't solve it. All right, understandable. But what also it signals is that Apple did not manage to complete this. With this enormous, gigantic amount of money they have per year, with the staff members that they already have, with the expertise in terms of how to build phones and the cameras, one of the main ways to solve autonomy is through cameras. And we know that Apple phones has an amazing history of building phones with an amazing cameras, with zooming, with focusing on different objects that are moving. So Apple already had a lot on the table, and they failed, or at least they decided not to pursue this lead. The implications for Apple don't end there. One of the best and brightest investors in our lifetime, Mr. Warren Buffett, is now selling Apple. And of course, there is a reason for that. And I would say that there are quite few. Firstly, we understand from what has happened is that Tesla is a very powerful company. Tesla is a company that no one should joke about, and they shouldn't be taking it lightly. It seems that under the leadership of Elon Musk, Tesla is actually crashing it, smashing it. They're building new ways of building vehicles. They're building software that it has never existed. They built even machines that has never existed in order to build cars that never existed. The updates and the upgrades that are happening every single day are huge. And Apple did fail. Tesla is currently winning. If we are looking at this, and we know that the majority of the Apple business, core business, is actually selling phones and accessories about them, computers. They have this ecosystem. And now we do know that Elon Musk and another company that he is running, SpaceX, is actually building this constellation, which is skyrocketing. Currently, the turnover from last year grew with over 150% roughly to about 6 billion. This is what they're expecting that the company is going to reach this year. 6.1 billion if I'm not wrong. But of course, once we move towards the middle of the year, we're going to have a better understanding and a better idea how far Starlink is. However, if Tesla can offer some sort of connectivity within their cars and they combine the technology of Starlink, that means you guys will be able, and myself as well, to have an access to your vehicle, to your phone, to your car from any point in the world. And that's now big, because all you need then is a device, smart device, and then an access to the internet, which is basically a simple registration, and there you go, the satellites are above us, so they are actually going to provide us with that service. If you now own a company, some sort of telecommunication company, and you have contracts with Apple, and then there is Tesla that is building something like that, if Tesla decides at some point in the future, well, let's build our own phone, we know that Tesla will have the capabilities under Elon Musk to create something that is going to literally impact the whole industry. Every other company, major telecommunication company out there that is having contracts with Samsung, with Apple and whatnot, will have serious doubts how the systems are going to proceed, because this is something that Elon Musk can do. This is how powerful his team is. This is how he thinks. And I'm probably sure in a matter of time, Tesla can create a phone and it can be connected with SpaceX satellites. And then the world will see massive changes in how we even talk to each other. As far as I know, the project is actually moving forward with Twitter, or so-called X. What happens is Elon Musk said that soon enough, we're not going to even need cards. So instead of you going and buying a card from different providers, Global, M, O2, 3, Virgin Media, or some sort of a Virgin phone services or whatnot, all this will be literally one registration with SpaceX, and that's it. Your phone, your internet, your other mobile devices, they wouldn't even need cards. So we're going to see another subscription business coming to Elon Musk's capabilities to run via X. So again, we are ending up with this combination of companies that Elon Musk is creating that are impacting the world on a global scale. I hope Apple are going to progress. Apple are actually focusing now significantly on AI. We know that the AI project for driving is gone. So now, as far as I know, Apple is moving towards ChatGPT. They want to put ChatGPT into their mobile devices. So of course, you can have a conversation with it. You can use it for other things like storing information, storing photos. It's just going to be like our modern way of being connected with the rest of the world. We know the singularity is going to happen, and Apple is actually moving the needle forward. And it's not just them. It's also ChatGPT, and it's Google, and it's Microsoft, and it's Tesla. So these combinations are actually helping all of us to live a better life, cleaner, quieter, more connected than ever. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bells so you never miss another episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you into the next one.